back, guys. Today we're going to continue our NFL predictions with Week 2. Last week I went 9-7, even though I should have went 8-8, thanks Buffalo. But I'll take the 9-7 and run with it. This week, last week was pretty sloppy to say, with one game being the lone exception. And hopefully some NFL teams will get back into the groove of things this week. And one of those teams looking like to get in groove next week, the Minnesota Vikings, traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Now, these two teams played each other last year at the same time, around the same time last year on Monday Night Football, where the Eagles shellacked the Vikings, 24-7. Last week, Vikings turnovers basically doomed them against Tampa Bay. Eagles, even though they got off to a 16-point start, they end up getting outscored. After that, they got outscored by the Patriots 20-9. And that's kind of concerning. But this game is in Lincoln Financial Field, and trusting Kirk Cousins in prime time is like trusting a drug dealer not to do drugs. So, that being said, I'm taking the Eagles to win on Thursday Night Football. Next we have is the Green Bay Packers traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Packers last week basically did a staple thing. They owned the Chicago Bears despite their owner being on a new team. And the Falcons, who despite looking sloppy against the Panthers, were able to eke out a win thanks to forcing turnovers. This game, it's going to be much closer than what you think. And normally I will take Green Bay to win, but I'm actually going to go with a slight upset, and I'm going to pick the Falcons to win this game. Next we have is the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Raiders last week, they rallied. They came from behind to beat the Broncos thanks to Jacoby Myers' 2 touchdowns. As for the Bills, they blew a 13-3 lead. And I'm starting to question the play calling done by Ken Dorsey. You're up 13-3. Why not run the ball? Why are you having Josh Allen force these throws? He had 4 turnovers overall. 3 interceptions and a fumble. He used to not be a turnover machine, but ever since Ken Dorsey took over, his turnovers went up astronomically. But as for this game goes, yeah, I'm taking the Bills to win. They're at home. I think they do bounce back. And hopefully they don't try and overthink the situation further. Next we have is an AFC North matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens, yeah, they beat the Texans, but what did it cost them? J.K. Dobbins. Once again, for the 3rd season in a row, his season is hampered by injuries. Last week, he suffered a torn Achilles, which means he's done for the year. Luckily, the Ravens do have running backs. As for the Bengals, they didn't even show up against Cleveland. I know Cleveland owns Joe Burrow, but man, I would expect a few more points from the Bengals. But this game is Cincinnati's home opener. I'm going to go ahead, and since this game is at home, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals to win. I think they do bounce back. They score a couple touchdowns. They might come from behind and win this one. Who knows? Next we have is the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. Now, these two teams played each other last year, week 4, and we had a surprisingly high-scoring matchup amongst these two teams. A 48-45 scoregami shootout. Now, last week, Seattle kind of let a lot of people down, losing to the Rams, who are also battling injuries of their own. And the Rams actually won using a running game of all things. As for the Lions, a lot of people doubted them on the first game of the season, including myself. And what do you know? They beat the Chiefs, thanks to their MVP and Kadarius Toney. This is a home game for Detroit, and I'm not going to doubt this team any further. I do think they're okay for now, but I am going to pick Detroit to win over the Seattle Seahawks. Next we have is the Chicago Bears traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. The Bears last week, they lost to the Packers. That's for me, that's not the biggest problem. Problem is they still look bad. They're supposed to be aren't they supposed to be better than what they were last year? That's my biggest problem. But as for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they surprised everyone and got a win at Minnesota. Turned out the defense is still the defense, and Baker, he didn't turn the ball over. He looked decent at quarterback, to say the least. This could be the move. Have Baker basically be like a game manager. Don't make bad plays and let the defense still be the defense. That could be their MO for the season, but we'll see how long this lasts. But as for winners, see, Tampa did really good on their run defense last week. Bears are one of the best running teams. I'm actually going to go with the home team, Tampa Bay. I think Tampa will go 2-0. And honestly, I did not have this to start the season. Next we have is the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Now, the Chargers, they continue to charging themselves out of games. What else is new? Defensive guru Brandon Staley and his defense is still terrible. Hashtag fire Brandon Staley. But as for the Titans, right, I don't even think they found the end zone last week. They were one of my upsets pick of the week last week, but they failed to find the end zone. And Ryan Tannehill, he threw 3 interceptions. So it is clear as day that his time in Tennessee his days in Tennessee is numbered. But for this game, people forget that Tennessee has a really good defense. And I think their defense is going to make a few plays in this game. I'm going to pick the Tennessee Titans to win. Even though the Chargers are the more talented team, I think with the Titans defense, I think they could make plays and get things done. Next we have is the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. These two teams saw each other in the division round, but it was clear as day that the Chiefs were the better team. But it was a tale of two teams last week. The Chiefs looked sloppy against the Lions, and it cost them the game. It showed that they missed Travis Kelce. But as for Duval County, they got a win. They had some highs and lows, but they ended up with the win over the Indianapolis Colts on the road. And if I recall my preseason predictions, I had Jacksonville winning this game against Kansas City, but I'm actually going to change my pick. I'm taking the Chiefs on the road to get the win. And only because Travis Kelce might be back, Chris Jones is going to be back, and I don't see the Chiefs going to 0-2 to start the season. That would be problematic. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans. For Indianapolis, I know they lost, but Anthony Richardson, he looked decent at quarterback. I can't say the same from C.J. Stroud. He's going to die back there, that Houston offensive line. And this is Houston's home opener. This one's a toss-up, really, because I expect these two teams being the bottom dwellers of their divisions. But I'm going to roll with the Indianapolis Colts to win. And I don't know why. I know Anthony Richardson got hurt last week, but I look like he's going to be good to go. And if he does go, I do got them winning. One of these rookie quarterbacks will get a win this week. Next we have is the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Los Angeles to take on the 49ers for the 49ers home opener. And no, I did not say that incorrect. But we all know, whenever the 49ers go to Los Angeles, it's a glorified home game for them, because they have a bigger following in California than the Rams do. So Rams house will be 49ers house in this particular game. But I'm going to give credit where credit's due for both teams. Rams, they got the win last week using the running game, and Aaron Donald's had his presence felt. For the 49ers, they They strengthened their grip as one of the better teams in the NFL by destroying the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. Honestly, did not see that coming. And with this being a glorified home game for the 49ers, yeah, I'm definitely taking them to win this game. And don't also, the 49ers own the Rams. Next we have is the New York Giants taking on the Arizona Cardinals in their home opener. The Giants. Less said about last week, the better. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But for the Cardinals, they didn't look terrible. They're supposed to. I thought for Washington it was gonna be a free win, but the Cardinals they came to play, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now their offense, they're not. They pretty much in the eyes of tank mode. They're still, but I do think the Cardinals might eke more than 2 wins this year. That's what it looks like. But in this win, I do think the Giants are going to bounce back and get this win. I think Saquon's going to have a much better showing. Luckily, they don't have the elements to destroy them. They don't have the elements to weigh them down. They don't have the Cowboys. Michael Parsons running on their neck on every single play. I think the Giants will bounce back and get the win. And speaking of Micah Parsons wrecking on every play, we have the New York Jets taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And before I talk about this game, I wish nothing more than a speedy recovery for Aaron Rodgers. He only lasted 4 plays, 4 minutes. His darkness retreat lasted 4 days. But I wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. Get well soon, Aaron. But for the Jets, they rallied behind Zach Wilson and came from behind and got the win over the Bills thanks to a walk-off punt return touchdown. As for the Cowboys, man, they destroyed the New York Giants. And it was on every single phase of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. Offense didn't even have, in their offense, the Cowboys offense didn't even have to do much in that game. But for this game, I don't expect a lot of scoring in this one. I do believe in the Jets defense. And as a matter of fact, upset pick of the week, I'm rolling with the New York Jets to win. And it's all going to boil down to their opportunistic defense. They had 4 turnovers forced last week. I know the Cowboys, they had a lot of turnovers. So this could be the battle of who will turn the ball over less. And with the Jets, I know this is crazy, but I have a feeling the Jets are going to win this one. And now we have the Washington Commanders traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Commanders, yes, they beat the Cardinals, but they made it much harder than it looked. And as for the Broncos, what's new? They lost to the Raiders again, thanks to only scoring 16. I guess the curse of 16 is real. But this game could go in any direction. And because I think this game could go in any direction, I am going to pick the home team Broncos to get the win. Hopefully they'll score more than 16 points. And that leads us to Sunday Night Football, in which the Miami Dolphins will travel to take on New England and take on the Patriots. The Miami Dolphins, they got a big win over the Los Angeles Chargers on the road, thanks to strong performances by Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, which the latter had 200 yards receiving. He's playing like he's on a mission. As for the Patriots, I mean, yes, they had a late rally against the Philadelphia Eagles, but it came up short. The whole nation was rooting for you, Philly, but you dropped the ball. Well, the whole nation would root for you, New England, but you dropped the ball. But this is a second home game for them. And knowing that Miami has had their way against the New England Patriots, I'm going to pick the Miami Dolphins to win on the road on Sunday night. I just love their offense a lot better than I like the Patriots' offense. And we have the first of 2 Monday Night Football games. The New Orleans Saints traveling to Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers in Bryce Young's first home game. Both teams, they did not look great, but the Saints did get the win. I feel like Derek Carr and the offense really struggled to get anything going. But luckily, and that's mostly because of the might of the Titans defense, Panthers couldn't get anything going on their offense. I don't know why, but they could, maybe because of rookie mistakes. But for the Panthers, it's only going to be going up for here. You can go nowhere else but up. So with that being said, as for winners, I also feel like this one's going to be another one of those toss-up games. I know the Panthers swept the Saints last year, but I think the Saints' experience is going to trounce over the Panthers' lack of it. So I'm gonna roll with the New Orleans Saints to win in Charlotte on Monday Night Football. And speaking of Monday Night Football, we have another Monday night game. This time against the Cleveland Browns, wearing white helmets for this game, traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Browns, they used the might of their defense to get the win over their division rival Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers, on the other hand, they got destroyed by the 49ers in nearly every phase of the game. It wasn't even close. It was that bad. They had us all fooled in the preseason. But in this game, I do think the Steelers will bounce back. I got them winning against Cleveland. I think the home crowd, it's a primetime night game. I think the home crowd will rally behind this team. So tell me what y'all think about this in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.